Greetings, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. If you have been here before, or welcome. If it is your first time visiting, we are going to skip the opening altogether today because I want to do a really quick spotlight reading. And this spotlight is going to be on, as you saw in the title, the judge in the Karen Reed case, Judge Beverly Canone. And the reason for this, guys, is because ever since my last reading, when I got a whole bunch of energy around her with reference to bias or favoritism toward the prosecution, my spirit guides have been like after me to take a closer look at what's going on with this judge in this case. So I aim to please. I have my little, I call them my sparrow cards, but actually this is the Paulina Tarot here today. And I've cleared the energy, and I'm just going to be asking for a couple of cards, hopefully not many, to come out. So I'm going to do a little bit of a slower shuffle so we don't have a huge flop, because I really just want to take a little close look. All right, thank you, Divine. So we did have a few come out, and this is probably all we need right now to read as far as what's happening, what's going on with the judge here. Why do we feel this sense of bias, unfairness? Why do we feel as though she's so blatantly trying to stack the deck against the defense here? Interesting that the Justice card comes out. Is it interesting or coincidental? No, it's the universe's way of just confirming that we are in the judge's energy here with the Justice card, and that she appears to be a female in this deck, and she is wielding some power here. She's got a sword in her hand. She is wielding her power. Okay. But the other cards we had come up is the Empress, the Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so I am just going to meditate a moment on these four cards and allow the messages to come through as they want to. So the Empress initially is talking to me about the fertility, the birthing, the possibilities, things being born of this case. I feel as though what I'm hearing from the Empress coming up right next to the Justice card is Judge Beverly somehow, some way trying to use this case as a springboard for something else as yet to come in her judicial career. This is the message I'm hearing with the Empress, okay? Because the Empress generally speaks to things being born of or coming from an event. And because it's right before her actions as Lady Justice, I am wondering whether or not someone or someones, a body of people, might be watching and grading her performance in this trial. And perhaps they are wanting to see her be tougher on the defense than she would ordinarily be. Now, this is just one angle I'm hearing. This is just one aspect of why she seems to be leaning so far into the Commonwealth's case. And I do want to say this, guys, that it isn't uncommon for judges to often pay a bit more mind to the prosecution and against the defense. We do see it. It is seen commonly, I want to say, but to the degree at which it feels to me like she is displaying this overt bias, there's some other things brewing. And we've got two pentacles here. Pentacles talks about the physicality of a circumstance. It talks about abundance, money, wealth, and all of that good stuff. So again, leaning into what does Judge Bev stand to gain And is there something going on behind the scenes for her? Is someone watching and, as I said, grading her performance as to maybe giving her higher marks when she seems to be shackling the defense and more or less giving them more restrictions than she seems to be doling out to Lally and the prosecution side? So this could be something that we don't know about and could be very real in her mind right now, that perhaps she stands to have some more wealth coming in, maybe some, I'm not saying at all, I do not hear the words payout, so I'm putting that out there. She's not being paid out or paid off or anything to that effect. She's not on the take. But I do feel as though the potential for her to do more work, perhaps, in cases like this might be greater if she falls on the side of the prosecution. That's what I'm hearing, guys. But we have two more cards here. We have two more energies here to look at. So the Four of Pentacles, and we generally see with the Four of Pentacles a very guarded energy. And this is someone who is being very careful about their position, about what they have to say. Judge Beverly is carefully guarding her stance. And I feel as though you can see that this person, this female with, looks like a crown or something on her head, that she's perched here on this like treetop, on this nest, as it were, in this depiction. This deck has a very like fantastical element to it, or fantasy element to it, storybook, so to speak. But I see her as being perched on her bench, and she is closely guarding something. And because it's in the Pentacles, you know, a lot of people would say, well, she's guarding her wealth, she's guarding her standing. And I wonder again if she has heard something with reference to her standing being not jeopardized necessarily, but being called to task if she was to, or if she were to, give the defense more breaks in this case. So someone or some body of people are judging the judge, is what I'm hearing. They are judging the judge. Because on the heels of this, we have the Five of Pentacles, which basically talks about a fall in position, despair, you know, losing your place, losing the riches, you know, this sort of sense of being stuck out in the cold or left out in the cold. And I do feel as though for the judge in this case, there is a sense that her siding with the prosecution will keep her in good standing with perhaps other people in law enforcement, and even perhaps, I hesitate to say it, guys, but it could even be with people that she is in communication with, people with whom she has a relationship. And I know that a lot of you guys are going to jump in and probably say, yeah, she is in tight with like the Alberts and the McCabe's rather. And that could very well be. I mean, is there a part of Beverly that feels as though if she shows any slight bit of favoring or giving the defense a break now and again, if she isn't going to be somehow left out in the cold by a group of people that are going to suddenly look upon her differently? So that's the message I'm getting. I'm going to make one more pull for this reading. And just a couple of cards, please. Just a couple of cards, please. Okay, we had one, so maybe that's all we need. One card. The Five of Cups. Interesting that we have 2 5 energies here, because those are the energy of chaos, conflict, change, disruption. So yeah, guys, I am definitely feeling that around Judge Beverly. So the Five of Cups talks about, in her heart of hearts, she is, I feel like, being placed in a position of having to look a certain way. And she is very closely guarding how she's coming off here. And I said this in my last video. This has to do with the players on the prosecution's side. The players being, I think, the families and all of the people that she does know personally, because they are somewhat wrapped up in an emotional component for her. Yeah, I'm hearing an emotional component for the judge. So she has no whatsoever, she has no emotional ties to anyone on the defense's team. Least of all, Karen Reed, because I have received messages that she has low regard for Miss Reed. And even to a degree, to the O'Keefe family, even though at the moment they appear to be connected up with the prosecution's case and side of this. I'm hearing that Judge Canone feels no immediate bond with the O'Keefe family, with John O'Keefe. So I'm going to, like I said, pretty much cut to the chase here. The message I'm getting, the messages that I'm receiving via these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards with 2 5s coming up with conflict, chaos, change, disruption. Judge Beverly is 100% on the side of the Commonwealth for several reasons, I feel. Number one, she's being watched. There is something that she wants to see come of this for herself, perhaps in her career. And she stands a better chance of that happening if she continues to show her support for the prosecution. That's number one. Number two, there is something she's guarding. There is this could even be, guys, this could even be a secret that she's guarding. Some sort of connection that she has with the families involved that she's holding on to. She doesn't want this to come out. She doesn't want this to be known. But by the same token, I feel as though she has this like devil may care bit about her that she's like, well, whatever. I don't really, however it looks, so to speak. Because it's impossible for me to imagine right now that she isn't sitting back and saying, wow, like I am totally looking like I am Lady Justice for the prosecution in this case. But, whatever, whatevs. So yeah, I feel like right now part of her is worried about keeping something close to the vest, but the other part of her is like, yeah, whatever. If it comes out, it comes out. There is something that she stands to lose though, guys. And this is what is keeping her very closely tied in with the prosecution's team, with the Albert family, perhaps with the McCabe's, perhaps, because she feels as though she has something to lose here. And that is what is keeping her behaving the way she is. So think, guys, what are your theories regarding I feel the obvious bias. I've heard that from my spirit guides, and we've seen it come out in prior readings. Let me know if you know of anything that could be maybe to her benefit from a career standpoint for her leaning toward the prosecution, because I'm getting that around her as well as just losing her standing with people that she's been close with perhaps over the years. Like I said, I felt as though there is something more to it, and that's why I wanted to do this mini spotlight on Judge Bev. Feel free to leave your conclusions, your thoughts, and any other comments you like, as long as they are kind and respectful, in the comment section below. And I look forward to hearing and seeing what you have to say. All right, guys, this was just a quick one for today. I appreciate you being here. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead right now and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and stay close. I'll be back really soon with some more readings from this case and others. And I will hope to see you here when we return. As always, be blessed.